are about 7,000 rare diseases known today, but 20 million children in the US and 200 million children worldwide have some form of rare disease. 95% of these rare diseases don't have exact targeted medicines. What is the best gift that we can give a very sick child? I think it is healing medicines. And that's what forms the core value of AMC. We are here to do simply that and give hope and opportunity for these children and their families.
Bertrand was born on December 9th, 2007. He's our first child. We were really excited when he was born.
At the very beginning, life seemed normal, and we really didn't know anything at the very beginning was wrong. But over the first 6 months of his life, little signs that something wasn't quite right started to show up.
He cried incessantly. He had colic that was around the clock.
When he would cry at night, and I would try to comfort him, and I would hold him and I would hug him, and nothing could make him happy. And I remember feeling like a failure as a father, that I, for some reason, could not comfort my son. It hurt. It really hurts when you can't comfort a crying child.
Our daughter Stella, she was born in July of 2006. So at age 3, Stella was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. And what neuroblastoma is a very rare childhood cancer, solid tumor type of cancer. And hers was growing in her stomach area on her adrenal gland. Stella had no symptoms of cancer, and so it was an incredible shock to us when we got the diagnosis.
When I heard from Susie what Stella's diagnosis was, it just made no sense. And it didn't make sense for a long time. And it was just, what do we have to do for her? What do we do next?
The medicines for these children don't exist because it's not profitable for the pharmaceutical industry to create medicines for small numbers of children with various rare diseases. AMC is a non-profit social enterprise which allows us to take on projects which the industry cannot carry, like 20 children in a particular disease or 200 children or 1,000 children. We are not driven by profit motive. We are driven by applying the technology to find the medicines for these children. It's the same technology that we use to create medicines for adults, we apply it for children.
Initially, our son was undiagnosed for 4.5 years.
Getting a diagnosis for Bertrand was absolutely critical. Without a diagnosis, there would have been no way to do any of the treatments we're considering.
Genetics technology today is very accessible. As a result, we are able to make exact diagnosis for many diseases. 10 years ago, this technology was not available. But today, for very little cost, a physician can confirm a diagnosis with a genetic test. That sets the stage for precision medicine, because when you can diagnose exactly, you can treat it exactly.
And actually, it was at Duke University where they sequenced his exome. They were able to determine that Bertrand had inherited 2 mutations in his NGLY1 gene.
And what they found was that Bertrand was in fact building a broken protein, and that the rest of us all have that Bertrand lacks. Knowing that Bertrand's building a broken protein allows us to say, well, how do we fix this protein, as opposed to trying to guess all the things that could have been wrong with him.
For example, Bertrand might, 10 years ago, may not have been diagnosed with the disease NGLY1 that we know he has today. He may have been treated for some other disorder. But today we can exactly diagnose Bertrand as having NGLY1 disease, and we can create medicines to treat that disease.
Children are really different from adults. Their metabolic systems are different. The way they grow and they change all the time is different. So you can't medicate them the same way you would an adult.
Kids aren't just little adults. They're actually very, very different biologically. And what this meant was that when we had to treat Bertrand's seizures, we were giving a 30-pound boy medications designed for 150-pound men.
Early on with her, cancer was so rare that she had to go through, just from my understanding, just a very blanket treatment of chemo.
Children have to be treated with medicines created for children, and that's the change that AMC brings to play. By creating targeted medicines for children, we eliminate most of the toxicological side effects of these drugs and prevent these children from suffering long-term side effects as they grow up. Currently, children treated with chemotherapy for cancer suffer lifelong side effects.
She has had some side effects from the chemo agents. Specifically, she's hard of hearing and kind of has old age hearing. So she does wear hearing aids when she remembers. And then she also has stunted growth.
Across the spectrum in medicine, we're moving into the era of precision or personalized medicine. Thanks to technology like genomics, when we can identify the individual mutations that are at fault, then we have a chance to design extremely targeted therapies that would have been impossible just a few years ago.
Well, I'm really hopeful about the future of pediatric rare disease treatment development because there are so many new technologies coming online, as well as American MedChem, who can take the discoveries that we make through sequencing and through these new screening techniques and bring them to the market, bring them to the clinic so children like my son can fully benefit.
What I'm looking forward to is seeing a future where children have very targeted treatment. And what I mean by that is they have a genetic test completed, and because of those results, they have treatment that's very specific for whatever rare disease that they have.
I think Bertrand, he has fundamentally and to the core changed me and my husband for the better. I think the world is a much better place because of Bertrand and because of children like him.
Over a decade ago, this was all pie in the sky, hearing about genetic testing, genomic this, genetic that, but we are living that today.
I'm excited about American MedChem because it's here at an important time in history. So I do believe that genomics and personalized medicine are really changing the game in terms of targeted therapies, not just for adults, but also for children.
We know that we're on the clock and that, we're fighting for his life. We need a treatment sooner rather than later in order to save our son.
Pharmaceutical companies are answerable to their shareholders. AMC, as a nonprofit, knows that its responsibility lies in creating medicines to save the lives of very sick children. At AMC, we have gathered an excellent board of directors. Collectively, we have more than 60 years of pharmaceutical industry experience at the board. We know our model will work. I'm here to ask you for your financial support. Your investment in AMC will help AMC scientists to create and bring forward clinical candidates which will become medicines to treat children with rare and neglected diseases. Together, we can help save children's lives.